Hi everyone, it is Wednesday. We are live at 5. We are live at 5. How is everyone? How is everyone? As always, I'm gonna wait a few minutes to wait for everyone to be on. And of course, when I'm on, people start making noise. If you're jumping on for the first time, say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you're gonna hear me. That's always super helpful. And there I am. So let me know. Let me see if I can silence this somehow. I don't know if I can actually. Um. Oh, there we go. I'll try that. Okay, we'll try that. How is everyone? Got two people on here so far. I can see you. Say hello. And where are you from? And why you are on the training tonight. Are you having employee issues? Most people do. Let me know where you're from. If you're having employee issues, we've all had employee issues at one time or another. I'm going to wait a few minutes for a few more people to get on. Hi, Natasha. Natasha, I remember you. You're from Australia. Do you have employee issues? It's a big deal. Boston, baby. Boston, baby. Hey, V. What's going on, girl? How's David? Yep, I remember, Natasha. You're the one with the cool braids. I remember that. I remember. How are you? How is everyone? Tonight's going to be about Candace. Same thing. Holler. Holler when entering a client's home. Yeah, this is the big thing, right? Revolving door. Yep. Revolving door. Hey, Kelly. I'm glad I put that message in there because everyone's always like, where do I find the link? My trainings, if you go to the main group, it's on the topic. It says events. You go under events. The most recent training that's upcoming is going to be the one on the top, and then you can watch the other one. So that's where it is. Oh, he's in a ton of it. Jace from Florida. For those who don't know Jace, Jace is Jay. Jay is my significant other, and he's amazing. And he's going to be with me at the Rise Retreat in September, which is almost sold out, by the way. Can you believe it? Oh my God. I have 5 confirmed, but I may have a 6th by Friday, and there's only 7 spots. Insane. Sold out really fast. So excited about that. So you got to keep going. The team's got to keep going. For everyone that doesn't know Victoria is been with me a long time. Her and her husband run their amazing business in the Worcester, Massachusetts area, the Castle Keepers, and they've been cleaning for 20 years. And her husband damaged his foot and is in a boot and cannot clean. And that is one of the main reasons why I do this. For those of you that don't know my story, I cleaned until the cows came home, right? I would clean all day, every day, 7 days a week, 4 houses, 5 houses by myself until my back said no more. And that's why I started helping people. That's why I do what I do. Is what I love. What I do is because at some point your body is going to say no more, and your body's going to say you can't clean anymore. And then if you don't have employees in place, you're out income, and it's a very scary thing. And that's why I do this. Kelly Jenkins from Texas, amazing team. She needs to find more. Hi, Laura. Kelly's amazing. Kelly's my girl. Kelly's coming to Rise Retreat too, because she attended last year and knows how kick-ass it was. All right, so for those of you that don't know, if you're watching this on replay or in person, hello. I can see everyone finally on the back end. This is awesome. Who am I? My name is Cheryl Hazer with 2 J's. That's Lebanese. I founded this group. I help cleaning business owners learn how to hire your dream teams, manage people, which is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Master the art of selling and how to execute in your business. I have a cleaning company. I've had a cleaning company. I'm still active in my cleaning company. I'm Made Bright Dog Cleaning, Brite. That's my company. I'm north of Boston, Massachusetts. I don't clean, only my own house, because I feel bad bringing my employees to clean the boss's house, right? I no longer clean. I haven't for a while. because my story, like I said, was the back issue, and my husband had to carry me out of bed, bring me to the chiropractor because I couldn't move. So I was forced to make changes a few years back, well, more than a few years back, um, and I did it. I did it, and that's why I do what I do here. I started it by myself. I was a single parent, putting food on the table. I had no money, no money to invest, nothing, right? And now we've grown it to over 850,000 organically, I must add, which is going to be my training next week. And I only work my cleaning business less than 20 hours a week, and it runs on its own. And we have amazing employees that have been with me a long time, 6 years, 5 years, a bunch that have been with me 4 years. And that's what the training is about tonight. As a business coach, I teach you to do the same things I do. So if you've worked with me, you know I'm no bullshit. I don't sugarcoat anything, but I get you the results that you want if you show up and do the work. Right? Correct. So I've been in your shoes. I've made bad decisions. I've made good decisions. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. And I give my clients the exact formulas, which you can ask anyone that's worked with me what I'm like to work with. So tonight, revolving door of employees, right? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Employees are a pain in the ass. All right, they're the biggest pain in the ass in your business. But if you know how to manage them and know how to master people, and you know how to, play a little psychologist or whatever, you can fix your staffing problem. And if you fix your staffing problem, you're going to fix your profit problem, because your staff is directly related to, or your profit is directly related to how well your staff functions, right? Okay, so let's have an honest conversation about that. Let's have an honest conversation about what is happening behind the scenes in your business. Only you know what's going on. Only you know how you talk to them. Only you know the conversations that are happening, right? So here's the hard truth. People always say, oh, there's a high turnover in the cleaning industry. Is it just bad luck? Or this is how the industry works. It's usually a symptom of a deeper issue within your leadership and or company culture, which are kind of, embraced, right? They're like this. They're like yin and yang. Your leadership and your company culture are together. So this constant revolving door. Let me just ask this. Show of hands, how many people feel like they have a revolving door? Just type the word revolving so I know, okay? Not only is it frustrating, it's devastating when everything you've worked so hard to build falls apart. And at the blink of an eye, someone can quit, right? Think about what happens each time an employee quits. You're not just losing a cleaner, you're bleeding money from every corner of your business, right? The cancellations that you have to make because you're suddenly short-staffed, they're not just temporary inconveniences, right? They cut into your pay, into your profits, right? Every time you call a client to reschedule or cancel, you're putting their loyalty on thin ice. Most clients will give you a few passes if you have a good relationship with them, right? But after like 4 or 5 cancellations, they're already scrolling through Google, trying to find another cleaner. Are they going to find a cleaner as good as you? Probably not, because there's all those shitty pop-up cleaners out there. We all know that, right? But I've seen this happen countless times. It's even happened to me, okay? Businesses are losing like 15, 20, 30,000 of annual revenue just from a few key clients walking away, right? How many of you have lost clients this year because of staffing issues? Just say lost clients because of staffing issues. I'm going to see if I can see you. Revolving. Natasha says revolving. Cynthia, my girl from Pembroke, New Hampshire. So let me just diverge and say that Cynthia is, thank God, out of my range of where I build my business so I can work with you. Cynthia and I have a Zoom call on Friday to talk about what it would be like to work together and see if I can help her. And I'm pretty psyched because this girl has energy. We were like vibing at like 9 p.m. last night. And she's coming to hopefully retreat too. Oh my God. I have a feeling Cynthia and Victoria will get along for some reason. Victoria's a mass girl, but like we're all kind of the same New England girls. But anyways, Laura Jean says revolving. Lost client. Yep. We've all had them. We have all had them, so don't feel like you're alone. You're definitely not alone. Um, but the damage goes beyond just your bank account, right? Each employee who walks out takes a piece of your momentum with them, and that's what we never think about, right? Remember, when you're in an upswing and you have that exciting growth, right, that you mapped out at the beginning of the year. This gets pushed back again and again. And so when you're stuck in a perpetual cycle of recruiting, interviewing, hiring, training, that's very time consuming. It can be draining, you know what I mean? If you let it, right? If you let it. And so you begin each week with this fresh optimism, only sometimes to end it in a fielding complaints, right? You're exhausted and possibly cleaning houses yourself because people call in, right? The owners, I work with a lot of people that happens. And I hear that, and I used to do that, right? So this is a constant one step forward, two steps back, right? It doesn't just stall your business, it starts to erode your passion. And that's the problem, right? Your passion is your excitement for what you're building, but these employees can suck the life out of you if you have the wrong employees and you don't know how to motivate the employees, right, to work, right? So the most overlooked consequence of high turnover is what it does to your mental health, right, and overall quality of life. Okay, so there's nothing more demoralizing than putting, your heart into training someone, and I get this, right? Giving them opportunities, believing in their potential, only to have them disappear without notice on a busy Monday morning, right? There's something about Mondays, people can't get their head out of their ass. You give them 2 days off, and they're just, Mondays are a tough day. They're still a tough day for every business, not just cleaning. So this stress of constantly being understaffed, anxiety of wondering who's going to quit next, who's going to show up, the frustration of having to explain it to your clients, right? Why their regular cleaner is gone. It takes a toll. It takes a toll, on all of us. And so many cleaning business owners, that I work with report to me and they tell me that they feel trapped, right? They're unable to take a vacation, working 60 hours a week, cleaning people's houses, right? Probably their house is a mess, right? But they're cleaning other people's houses. And the family unit suffers, right? And is this really the business you dreamed of creating? Probably not, right? Probably not. So we're going to get brutally honest right now. If you want to grab a pen, piece of paper, or write it on your iPad or whatever, why your employees are leaving. These are the most common issues I see. Now remember, not only my own business, I've worked with hundreds of maid service owners across the country and in Canada, and I'm telling you why. Okay, number one, toxic workplace dynamics. It doesn't matter if the toxicity is coming from you or coming from the staff. Either way, it's toxic. So owners don't realize sometimes that you might be creating a toxic environment. You may not even know. You may think you're maintaining high standards or being thorough, which we have every right to be, right? But, when you point out every speck of dust that your cleaner is missing, it's the delivery and the feedback is what matters enormously, right? So let's say you get 3 people in a house, it's you and 2 other people. If you're publicly criticizing the employees, comparing team members to each other, right? Maybe using a little sarcasm or, in frustration, it may come out because you're frustrated, right? When you're communicating about performance, it can create an environment of fear that they start to fear you, right? So your employees aren't just a pair of hands, they're human beings, right? So you have to treat everyone like a human being. Everyone needs respect. Everyone needs dignity, especially in a physically demanding job, especially women, because women are more emotional, right? Women are emotional because they're already feeling the pressure of the expectation to, look good. So consider this scenario. I worked with a girl, a lady by the name of Maria, right? And she was, had been cleaning, for a few years or whatever. She was, reliable, but she struggles with the, time management on the larger homes. Okay. So instead of having a private conversation about how to improve her performance, this is a staff, is what I mean, not a client, and her efficiency, right? It was like, how do I say this? This was like before. So like, I would make a comment like, this is why we're behind schedule, right? everyone else can finish these on time, but we're on schedule because of this, because of that. And so while you may think that you're simply stating facts, right? And I actually said this, what that girl heard was public humiliation, right? So now she starts dreading coming to work, knowing, is she going to have another day where she feels inadequate, where her work isn't good enough? And it's not a wonder that she jumped at another opportunity with another company that promised a more supportive environment. People want to be supported. Your cleaners, we're cleaning houses. It's very personal, right? It's very personal. We know it's a delicate situation sometimes, right? So you have to treat them human. You don't want to say, this is why we're always behind schedule or whatever. You don't want anyone to hear. You don't want to talk about a staff member to another staff member. I don't care how long they've been with you. Do not talk negative. If you're talking in a positive environment, like, how can we get Amani better? I'm training 3 new people this week, which is a lot. 3 new people at once, another one coming on next week. So it's crazy town in my cleaning business right now. But so everyone's a human being. This is how you keep them. So that's number 1, your toxicity. Make sure you're not doing anything yourself. Assess what you're doing yourself and say, is this a toxic way to talk to someone, right? Number 2, never operate from assumptions, right? This goes along with the, inconsistent communication, right? This is a silent killer of employee retention. This manifests in countless ways. So you might think your expectations are crystal clear, but when was the last time you actually documented your expectations? Do you have everything documented on paper? Everything must be documented on paper. Do your cleaners know exactly what to clean, right? Exactly which products which products to use on which surfaces, okay? Case in point, this happened yesterday. I have a client that messages me. She's been with us a long time. She got butcher block countertops, okay? Now, somewhere along the line, and I don't know who it was, but somewhere along the line, because it was a piece of wood, one of my cleaners, and it was probably my newer ones, used orange pledge on the butcher block, right? That wasn't communicated correctly, okay? My team leader needed to say, hey, you need to use soap and water on a butcher block. That wasn't done correctly. So now when I go in, I'm not going to mention anything till the morning of. I don't talk to them a week before someone's cleaning, right? So now I get it in my doc. Okay, we're going to talk about Christine G's butcher block countertops, because what happened was the pledge seeped into the butcher block countertops, and it was like an orangey smell, which is good on furniture. It stayed in her kitchen, and she was like, hey, can you make sure they use something else? Whatever they used was oily. I knew exactly what it was. I'm like, fuck. So it happened to me. But so I look at it like this. I don't get mad at them. They didn't know. They said, oh, it's wood. It must be pledge. That I could see where that could be construed like that, right? I get it. They didn't know. It wasn't communicated correctly. So now I need to go back and I need to make sure all my cleaners know that when you see a butcher block wood countertop in a kitchen, that is soap and water. That is not chemical, because it's porous. It's wood. The chemical's going to stay in there. Soap and water only. Okay, we learn from that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't assume that people just know stuff. You need to, have that documented. I know I have it documented, but it just was a misprint, right? So I got to emphasize that to all my team leaders, to everyone, so they understand that, right? The client wasn't mad, just asked for a different result. Totally fine, right? So this is a communication breakdown, right? This can also extend to scheduling as well. In industry like this, where fluctuating clients need last minute cancellations, they're gonna move this, move that. You've got, Mrs. Smith, who's 77, has a doctor's appointment, doesn't want us to be in the house when we're cleaning, gonna move her around. We get that stuff all the time. But it's how you handle these changes is what is going to reveal a lot about your leadership. So Texting an employee at 8 p.m. to tell them they need to be across town for a different job at 7 a.m. shows a fundamental lack of respect for their personal lives, right? You don't want to text them that late if you don't need to, right? So some scheduling in this business adjustments, some of the adjustments are inevitable. We all know that, and they all know that. If you explain that to them, especially the new people coming in, be like, hey, don't check your schedule till the morning of because it might change. They're going to expect the unpredictability, and it's not going to faze them. If you don't tell them, it's going to feel like chaos to them, right? Is this making sense? Is it making sense, ladies? Hey, Belinda. Lost client. Laura Jean says, I hate how it looks from the client's point of view, the turnover. Totally. It makes you feel like, you feel unprofessional. That's what it makes us feel like. You feel unprofessional. I get that. I totally know that. Number 3, micromanagement. Raise your hand if you think you micromanage. I know some of you do. This is soul crushing. Micromanagement is soul crushing to your staff, and it will make people leave you. Okay? Nothing communicates, I don't trust you, more clearly than hovering over your employees. Okay. That's a shitty feeling. Think about how you would feel, right? Second guessing their work, insisting they follow your method to the letter, right? I have a system, but if someone has another way of doing something that's just as efficient, I'll consider it, right? I'm not a Gestapo, I'm not a ruler with the iron fist, right? So if they get the same results, I'll consider something like that, right? So micromanagement drives away employees. It damages your reputation in the local labor market. All the cleaners gonna know each other, right? So word spreads quickly in the industry about controlling bosses, right? You'll hear it when you interview people that have worked for other cleaning companies. I hear it all the time. I was in an interview yesterday hearing about, someone up the way doesn't really do my area, but I know, who it is, and I'm not going to tell any of you just in case. Cynthia might know. Cynthia from Pembroke, Mass might know because she does the Seacoast. But anyway, someone on the Seacoast didn't get good reviews as boss. Right, I hear it all the time, and it's not the first time I've heard it. I've heard it from like 3 people I've interviewed that have worked for this company, so they shall remain nameless. But anyways, cleaners talk to each other, right? They know who's good to work for, they know who's not good to work for, and micromanaging people is not what they're looking for. There's a way to say stuff to not micromanage people, right? So like, let's say you show up to do a quality walkthrough, and your cleaners are like, oh, why are you here? They think you're checking up on them. This is what you say. I just was on the Zoom with Andrea, one of my clients from Montana, who's coming to Rise Retreat. Yellowstone's coming to Rise Retreat. That's my name for her. And I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? We're talking about micromanaging people. And I said, this is what you say. I said, when you go and you show up on a quality walkthrough, you explain to your staff this. You explain and you say, no, I just show up, and do random, quality walkthroughs. Maybe someone's having a bad day, or, we want to make sure that the client gets everything they need. They're paying big bucks for this cleaning. And then you say this, I'm not paying your paychecks. The clients are. And the clients are actually paying my paycheck too. So the goal is for you and I to work together to create the best possible result for the client, so the client keeps us and we still get paid. Right? Now that's a totally different way of framing that. So now they're not on the defensive anymore. They're like, oh my God, that totally makes sense. Now you've just got them to understand why a quality walkthrough happens. Does that make sense? Tell me if that makes sense. Say makes sense. Right? Makes sense. Because it's all how you talk to them. It's all how you frame situations and things like that. Remember I said there's a little bit of psychology in this? They're damn right is psychology in managing people. Ladies, there is. Totally there is. And you have to master this, right? All right, number 4, no growth path, not having a path, right? So this is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate missed opportunity I see in the cleaning business, right? It's when you fail to provide a growth path for employees. So they're just a cleaner. They could go work at Dunkin' Donuts, making cold brews all day and make the same amount of money, right? We know that. So too many owners view cleaning positions as dead-end jobs rather than potential careers. And this mindset becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your most talented, hardworking cleaners want to know there's something ahead of them than just cleaning houses year after year. Now, you're talking about someone that's, I have one person going on 6 years. 6 years. Whew, that took a lot of work. No, 5 years. I got three going on 4 years. You know what I mean? I just did a review with one of my amazing cleaners today. She's a team leader. She's a trainer. She works during the day. She fills in at night. She's insanely amazing. We just gave her a raise. She's staying, right? They're staying. Exactly. So when you don't provide them with opportunities for advancement, into different positions, into team lead positions, into training roles, into quality checks, into, in charge of laundry, or, anything like that, you lose people. You lose people, right? Without these opportunities, your best people are going to inevitably start looking for other jobs, right? So you have to remember that ambition isn't limited to people with college degrees or corporate backgrounds. Your cleaners have dreams and goals too. They have dreams and goals of making as much money as they can to put food on the table, to take vacations, to support their kids, right? And if you can't do it for them, they will find it somewhere else, right? But this crushing lack of recognition in many cleaning businesses compounds along with all these other issues, right? Cleaning is physically demanding. We all know this. It's often thankless work. Hopefully most of your clients tip, but we know that some clients are cheap asses, right? And they don't tip, right? We know that. So your employees spend their days making spaces beautiful, only to have clients take it for granted or only notice what was missed. I hate that, but it happens, right? So if you as their employer also fails to acknowledge their efforts, now there's a double whammy there, the psychological toll just becomes unbearable and they have no motivation to come to work. So simple acts of appreciation like personalized thank you notes, Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. We're big Dunkin's people over here in New England, right? And Victoria and Cynthia, if you're still on, you know that. Public recognition. Tell them they did an amazing job of that deep clean in front of all of your staff, right? You can only do this if you have an office. That's the problem. Either that or you can send them a group message, right? If you don't have an office. So you have to let them know that they're doing a good job and you appreciate them. You always have to tell them that. You're not going to keep anyone if you keep browbeating them. You will not. All right, let's talk about those are what those things could be possibly causing people to leave you, right? Okay, let's talk about what successful cleaning business owners are doing differently. They're creating genuine cultures of respect, not just talking about it in the job interview, they're actually doing it. So this means establishing very clear, very consistent systems for everything from training to feedback to scheduling. We have a suggestion box in our office I have a key and it's private, right? They write a suggestion, they put it in the box, I get to open up, see what it is. Things have been as simple as food requests on Fridays. They only want to do one deep clean a day. That's not realistic when you have a team of 4. I don't know who wrote that. Someone that was tired that day. But you get all kinds of stuff, so you see how they're feeling. That was a really good thing for us to do, right? So you want to do things like this. You want to create detailed cleaning checklists, conduct one-on-one meetings with them, check-ins where employees can, share their concerns, or I don't want to work with this one, or this happens, or that. You're gonna hear all kinds of stuff, but you want to have this forum open for them to talk to you, right? You have to be cool. You have to be a cool boss, right? You have to be cool. Another thing, why is it so important? Why is it so important to invest in proper equipment, right? I know you don't want to spend $500 on a vacuum. I get that, right? But you can't cheap ass this stuff, especially if you're not cleaning. Why do you want to buy a great vacuum that works good, that makes their lives easier? So your team isn't struggling and can barely function and gets pissed off and says, my boss is cheap, she doesn't want to hire good vacuums, I'm out, right? Just because you're trying to save a few bucks. Spend the money. Make your cleaners' lives good when they're cleaning for you, right? Make them comfortable when they're cleaning for you. Don't buy some crap vacuum. Spend a good amount. My staff all like Pro Team. That's all we have. We have the vacuum ones. We have the 6-pound ones. They're like triangle. They're comfortable on their backs. They like them. They work well. They work faster. $500 plus a piece, and we invest in them. Why? Because I'm not going out and cleaning any houses anymore. That's why. They're out doing it. So they need to be comfortable. And they work great and they like them. So feedback is going to be important, right? Feedback is going to be important. You have to see your cleaners as valuable professionals, right? Whose expertise and well-being are very, centralized to your success, right? Totally important. Is this all making sense? I'm going to check in. Dunks and Aroma Joes. I like Dunks. My husband got me hooked on these stupid coffee. And what are they? Cold foam, cold brew. Damn it. They're 130 calories. Candace, what do you do when your texts are texting you late at night about tomorrow's work? Candace, what are they saying to you? No one texts me late. Unless they have an issue that they can't come in or something. Janelle says, oh yeah. I don't know what that's for. Hi, Janelle. Cynthia, always worrying about bumping into things with a backpack bag. She's just going to learn spatial relationship, girl. That's all. I know. I had one girl take out a piece of a wall with it. That was years ago, and she was kind of clumsy. So, Laura Jean, what are the options for growth besides team leader, field supervisor, manager? So you have team trainer. So I do assistant team lead, team trainer, quality supervisor, admin, operations manager, which is the big bucks, which is about a $60,000 an up position. So you don't have one of those until you're at 600 grand a year, because you won't be able to afford it, because you want to keep that money in your pocket. But you can surely have an admin to help you with certain things, or VA, as you get to that point, right? As you get to that point. Okay, so let's talk about, let me walk you through what a truly effective employee retention strategy looks like. It starts with your hiring process, right? Are you clearly communicating your job expectations from the very first interview? If not, you should be. Do the candidates understand exactly what success looks like in your company? Lay it out for them. Tell them as much as you want, right? Your onboarding has to be comprehensive, not just a single day of training before throwing new hires into clients' homes, right? So you have to this really has to be, I start giving them stuff to read and look at before they even start. I have a packet on their second interview. If I decide to hire them, I give to them, right? I give to them. And I teach people in my Drop Them Off what's in that packet and how to do it, right? So detailed manuals, right? They need detailed manuals. They need your rules, your regulations, all kinds of stuff like that. We also do check-ins. We do a check-in after the first week, after 2 weeks, after 4 weeks, sometimes 60 days. I'm always checking in with my people. I see my people every single morning, Monday through Friday. I'm checking in with them. Yesterday we had a new person start. I said, how was the backpack vacuum? You've never used it. What do you think? Had that conversation. So, and it's a guy. I hired a guy. Victoria, I'm going to tell you. Hired a guy. He'd never used a backpack vacuum, and he kicked ass, actually. I was very surprised. But I made that conversation not uncomfortable. We talked about it, and I said, don't worry, get used to it. It's only 6 pounds or whatever. It's fine. Talk to them all the time. All the time. They're human. They're human, right? You ask them questions. So establishing these regular check-ins are really, really important. What are they getting paid? Their compensation strategy, it needs to be competitive, but also detailed and comprehensive, right? So research what other companies are paying, so you're not out of the ballpark, right? Can you offer, gas cards? Victoria offers gas cards to her people to help with fuel costs. That's an incentive. Health insurance. Each state's different. I don't have to pay health insurance in Massachusetts because everyone's on something called Mass Health, which is very good insurance, state insurance, and every one of my people is on it. But other states don't have it. Texas doesn't have that. Different states. Florida doesn't have that, right? So giving them small perks, Even company t-shirts. Everyone should be in a company t-shirt, right? They're representing your company. They should be wearing something. Daisy Fresh. Kelly has people in her shirt. She has people in her shirts. Reliable equipment, good cleaning products. It shows you're investing in the team's success, right? Um, Communicate with them well. It needs to be consistent. Team meetings, right? Even if it's out of the field, even if it's lunch or whatever, it need to be done. A company app, a messaging platform where you can talk to them besides just in person. A lot of people use Slack. We use Slack. We use a couple of different things. We use Slack. We use OpenPhone. You have to have protocols for scheduling changes, for client issues, for performance expectations, all these things. Another thing that some people don't do are recognition programs, right? It doesn't have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be, but it doesn't have to be elaborate, but it has to be effective, right? So, like I said, gift cards, food. People love food, donuts, bagels, beach parties, Christmas parties. You have to do all that stuff. Celebrate birthdays, work anniversaries. If you follow my company, and I do the content for my company, we do all that stuff and they love it, and they see it on Facebook. They love that stuff, right? So these small gestures are going to demonstrate that you see your employees as whole people, not just workers. Okay. We talked about scheduling respect, right? This goes a long way in retention. I know the cleaning industry is sometimes tough to navigate around. It involves some flexibility, but minimizing these last minute changes, and this is a big thing I work on with my people in the drop them off, is learning how to get the clients to respect that with writing your policies and procedures correctly, having a service agreement that says certain things in it, so the client's not fucking everything up. So you know what I mean? It's a domino effect. The client fucks it up, it's going to fuck up the schedule. So everyone needs to understand your rules, or they get booted off the schedule, ladies, right? And then creating the magic, right? This is the best part of it. When I see this, I know I've done my job. Genuinely seeing a community amongst your team members. Half of my staff all hang out. They do like Easter together, birthdays. They go to the beach together. They do all kinds of stuff like this, like baby showers. Sam just had a baby 4.5 months ago. We do cool stuff like that. We created this like big like diaper tower. Liz has had 2 babies and come back to work. Sam has had 1 baby and come back to work, but she came to work for us when she just had her second baby. So actually, it was the second baby, I think. Yeah. So do this stuff, right? Do this stuff and foster genuine community among your people. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing when you see this, right? This is more difficult to do when you have 100% solo model, because they don't see each other. My company is a hybrid. It's a little bit of solo, a little bit of teams of 2, right? But you have to be the instigator in creating these opportunities for your teams to connect, right? Whether it's the monthly lunches, the quarterly team building activities, community service projects, whatever it is, this will help the cleaners bond and become friends. People stay for 3 reasons. They like the boss, they like the people they work with, and they like to clean. It's not always the money. It's not always the money. So these transformation stories that I tell you with my clients, this is all true. Let me talk about Leah for a second. So Leah, I worked with Leah for a couple years. Leah owns Leah's Cleaning in Trinity, Florida. And she's been hitting consistently $30,000 months, up from $10,000. When we first started working together, she was at like $9,000 a month. She's at $30,000. She's barely cleaning. All right. So before we started working together, she had multiple call outs, quality complaints. People would no show. They'd quit at the blink of an eye. And she was depressed. And she was like, do I even want to keep doing this? Right. She was only at about $8,000 a month. And she was still cleaning 5 days a week. She had to cover the schedule when people called out, which was all the time. But so we implemented a bunch of strategies, retention strategies. And she worked on it, and it wasn't perfect, but she's been able to grow her core team for over a year now. She's hired some more people. She's hit that 30K consistently since the beginning of the year. And she's severely reduced her time in the field. She only goes to do quality checks and on deep cleans just to help the team out because they're hard, right? So she completely overhauled her communication, her compensation structure, her training manuals, created a sales package that the clients love, and she's able to finally focus on her business instead of constantly hiring. So if you don't fix these issues, they will continue. But Leah's story is really a true testament. If you have a little faith and get the right guidance, right, you can make some systematic changes that can completely transform your business. So if you experience high turnover in your cleaning business, it is time for an honest self-reflection, and it's okay. This is one of the things you need to master as a boss, is you need to be able to look at what you could be doing wrong, right? So ask yourself if you're truly providing an environment where people want to stay and grow, right? Are you investing the appropriate time in your team's development? Are you demonstrating this in both words and actions, right? That you value them as people and their contributions. Like the cleaning industry, I tell everyone, it doesn't have to be characterized by constant turnover. And it's actually funny. I'm going to be doing the Zen Maid Summit. I'm training, and I'm going to be talking about this. This actually one of the things I'm going to be training on, which is different. I usually train on branding and marketing, and I'm going to be doing client retainment this year because it's a massive subject, right? So let me be clear. Transforming your retention rates will not happen overnight, right? It's going to require consistent effort, a little financial investment, and some uncomfortable changes to your leadership style. But the alternative is continuing on the exhausting hamster wheel of hiring, training, replacing. And who wants to do that, right? And every time you bring on new people, it costs you more money because your profit margins shrink because they're slower, right? And your stress goes up. And then you're like, why the hell am I doing this? So the question is whether can you afford to fix this, right? Let me see hands up. Who needs to fix this? Connect team. Yep. I've seen that before. It's hard to keep up with the pay expected these days. I don't pay the highest, and I've been able to keep my people, but we work hard at it, Laura. You know what I mean? Candace, mainly self-explanatory questions, asking if I can move a house up 30 minutes on the schedule, things like that. Can't wait till the morning. Yeah, there's got to be a way we can curtail that a little bit. And then there's Victoria's story too. She had people, cash employees, right? This woman transferred cash employees to W-2 and retained people, right? It has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with the way you treat them. Granted, they need to make a certain amount of money. You need to be competitive. That's not what I'm saying. It's the way you treat them that makes them stay, right? They were bringing in $8,500 a month. Now they're just under the 30K radar, right? She went from 3 employees to 6, plus her and her husband makes 8, right? They're cleaning every day. They're getting out of the field. Victoria's out on Fridays. David's out right now 5 days a week, hopefully forever. But so these successes that I tell you this because they're not about finding a unicorn, right? A unicorn employee that's going to stay forever. They're all going to have an employee life cycle, right? They're about creating businesses you need to create a business where qualified people generally want to work and they want to show up for you, right? Does this make sense, right? So if you're having a staff problem, or if you don't have any staff yet, and you're interested in seeing what it would be like to have me help you, let me know. DM me. I'm very accessible. As you know, Cynthia was messaging me. We were talking last night at 9 p.m. in bed, and I'm in bed. Type drop them up. I got some spots open. And we can have a conversation. We can do a Zoom. I can tell you how I work. I can tell you my expectations because I have expectations. Someone that wants to work with me, I want you to get the results. Right? I'm not going to do the work for you. I'm going to show you everything you need to do. And if you're a worker, if you're motivated and you think you have what it takes to make it in this industry, I will get you there, but you have to work for it, right? You have to work. You have to do the work. Ask anyone that's worked with me. Because you need to understand that it's not up to someone else to build your business, it's up to you. So if you think you have what it takes and you're interested in hearing on what it's like to work with me, hit me up, DM me, drop them off. You know how to get in touch with me. I also wanted to share something too. That is coming out tomorrow. I am doing a 3-day webinar, May 27th, 28th, and 29th. It is free. 3-day webinar, but you're going to have to sign up for it. And it is on how to recession proof your cleaning business. So it's my 3-day blueprint to growing your cleaning empire and growing despite the fluctuations in the US economy. I've never done a 3-day webinar before. It's sign up only, it's private, it's off Facebook, it's on a Zoom only. So I am going to be, if anyone's interested in the webinar, all you need to do is give me your email. Actually, I should probably put the link. I'm going to put the link in this page right now. I'm going to put the link in this page because it's free, so why wouldn't you want to do it? What you'll need to do is you need to sign up. And all it is a little form here. Okay, I'm going to put this in. So, 3-day free webinar. May 27th, 28th, and 29th. Here's the link for you. And it's private, and I'm going to train for like probably about an hour at a time. It's going to be a long week. But so I'm pretty excited about it. I've never done it. I feel that there's a lot of unrest about the economy, right? Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. The tariffs, everything going on. Everyone's, upset. I've heard from all different people in all different states. Some people are busy. Some people are not busy. People are holding on to their income. They don't know. Are the tariffs going to affect them? What's going on? We're up, we're down. The stock market's up, it's down. So I'm going to show you how to recession-proof your cleaning business in 3 days. We're going to look at several factors on each day that's affecting why you could be seeing some fluctuations, why you can't get clients, why you can't beat these stupid pop-up cleaners that popping up saying I clean, right? All kinds of stuff like that. You're going to get actionable steps every single day, take home things to implement in your business right away and get some changes. So if you're interested in that, please register. That's the only way that you can watch this because it's a private event. It's off Facebook. It's in Zoom. And I will be able to get you the link for it. You put it in your calendar, May 27th, 28th, 29th, 5 p.m. It's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the Tuesday right after Memorial Day. There will not be a live at 5 because it will be this webinar. So if you're interested, I'd love to see you there. If anyone has any questions, let me know. All right. If you're watching this on replay, you can most certainly ask me questions as well. So this was a long one tonight. We went almost an hour. So enjoy your evening. I will see you all soon. Happy hump day. Tomorrow's Thursday. We're getting closer to the weekend. All right. Have an amazing evening, ladies. All right. Bye.